guys, I'm Tahir Javed from Department of Political Science, 4th semester. I'm here to discuss the book, the most astonishing book I have ever read, The Homo Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, A Brief History of Humankind. So, Yuval Noah Harari, first of all, the introduction of writer of this book, Yuval Noah Harari, is a famous Israeli professor, historian, and a philosopher, and he has written three books till yet. First is The Homo Sapiens in 2014, and then The Homo Deus, which is a story of future of the mankind, and third one is the 21st lessons of the 21st century by him. And all three books are highly recommended, and I've just read the one first of those three, and I'm here to discuss with you all guys. और जहाँ तक लिखारी के बारे में ये बताना मकसूद है कि हम कहाँ तक तो किस एक ख़ास हम कह सकते हैं कि एक अदब की किस शाख से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं, तो इस सिलसिले में मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि जब तक एक लिखारी ज़िंदा है और वो मुसलसल लिख रहा है तो उसके मतलब किसी किस्म की भी राय कायम करना एक ज़्यादती होगी, क्योंकि वो किसी भी टाइम किसी किस्म की भी और उससे अच्छी किताब और उससे एक मुखालिफ नज़रिए में, क्योंकि मालूम नहीं होता कि राइटर यकदम किस तरफ चला जाएगा। तो अभी तक ये बात वाले इनके क्रिटिक्स का काम है कि वो किस तरफ इनको रखते हैं। तो मैं राइटर के मतलब इतनी अभी सफाई से कुछ नहीं कहना चाहूँगा। तो हम बुक की तरफ आते हैं, तो बुक के उन्होंने 4 हिस्से किए हैं। The first one is the cognitive revolution, and then comes the agricultural revolution. The third one is the unification of mankind, and fourth and last portion is the scientific revolution. So, talking about the first portion, cognitive revolution. So, as the writer has defined this book, this portion as. So, before discussing these all four parts, I want to tell you one basic thing, that this book is written on the evolutionary perspective, which is against the you can say the Islamic perspective of existence of humankind on this earth. So, while talking about the evolutionary history of humans over here, the writer gave a deep knowledge of all these things, that there were existing the six species of human at different times, and Homo sapiens was the one that was existing in the African continent about during the course of era. But then came the cognitive revolution. What is cognitive revolution? While talking about this, writer has said that the appearance of new methods or new skills of communication, and you can say all the skills that help the Homo sapiens to overcome all the other 5 species that are existing, among which are the Homo neanderthals, Homo erectus, and all those others. So हुआ ये कि राइटर बताते हैं कि एवोल्यूशनरी पर्सपेक्टिव में कि सेपियंस अफ्रीका से उठे, एंड दे स्टार्ट डोमिनेटिंग ऑल द अदर 5 स्पीशीज, एंड दे ultimately came over that, and there came the time. It was around the cognitive revolution has been dated around 70,000 to 30,000 BC. So in these 40,000 years, the Homo sapiens somehow made. It was although Homo neanderthals and Homo erectus were taller and you can say bigger in physique, and their minds, size of skulls, as we have found in the caves, as the writer and archaeologists have said over the time. So they were strong than Homo sapiens, but it was thanks to the cognitive revolution in which Homo sapiens developed among themselves the new ways of communication and skills that helped them to overcome all those other things. So this is the evolutionary perspective, that Homo sapiens overcame all the other 5 species. And the second portion, so this is the cognitive revolution. Then comes the second portion, which is the agricultural revolution. So after the cognitive revolution, when the Homo sapiens just came over all those other species, and they were the only species of a human existing over here. So then they start fighting, and they start all those chaos without a political system that happens all around, without a central government. So then came the agricultural revolution, that is dated from 30,000 to 12,000 BC. In this portion of you can say agricultural revolution, humans, before that, writer has told a lot about the nomadic lifestyle of our ancestors Homo sapiens. And Homo sapiens, the nomadic lifestyle was that you can say that people were traveling all around, they never settled at any place. But agricultural revolution, when agricultural revolution happened over here in this in the societies of Homo sapiens, it made them to settle in a place. Like अगर आप के खेत हैं किसी जगह पे आप खाना उगाते हैं अनाज, तो ऐसा होता है कि उसमें आप उस जगह को छोड़ के नहीं जा सकते. बिफोर दैट when you had the nomadic lifestyle, you can go anywhere and you can pick up anything. So this was the agricultural revolution that made them to settle over one place, and after that started the third portion which we will discuss. So as we have discussed, guys, that agricultural revolution domesticated the sapiens to one place, and then came the problem of political disorders and all those other things that were going all over there. So agriculture, so there were only sapiens, सिर्फ होमो sapiens रह गए, और वो फिर जगह पे अब उन्होंने जब अब एक जगह पे रुके हुए हैं और किसी साथ वाले हमसाय मुल्क को मसला है आपसे, उनको कुछ रिसोर्सेज चाहिए या कुछ भी किसी किस्म का, वन इज स्ट्रॉन्ग देन इट विल अल्टीमेटली अटैक ओवर यू. सो फ्रॉम दिस इससे ऐसा हुआ कि हमें एक स्ट्रॉन्ग गवर्नमेंट और पॉलिटिकल और वॉरफेयर क्रिएट करना पड़ा. सो ऐसा हुआ कि एग्रीकल्चर रेवोल्यूशन के बाद हर तरफ एक केओस और पॉलिटिकल अनस्टेबिलिटी, हर तरफ होमो सेपियंस लड़ रहे थे, और all the courts, the unification of mankind, this is the third portion which I am discussing right now. This started from the 12,000 BC after the agricultural revolution to the you can say the round about 500 BC. So in this portion, I will specifically discuss the idea that how all these Homo sapiens that was fighting all around over on the earth, how they came to a point that to the modern you can say nations and all those states that are existing right now, how this came, how this all happened. So in these there is a one fascinating thing I just recall while I have read that book. Writer has just said that there were three basic things that led to the unification of mankind or Homo sapiens over here in this in the face of this earth. The first were the merchants. Merchants played the role that they considered all the earth as a single trade unit, you can say, beyond the political borders. Like if there was a there was a civilization of China existing over here in China, and then the Rome, as you know about the Silk Road that existed, that started from the China and led to the Rome. So these all things happened, that merchants came and they started going beyond the political borders. That was the first, you can say, the factor that writer has said that led to the unification of mankind. Then second thing comes the political leaders or the war leaders, to which the writer has said that they played the role in unification of mankind. Like there were different civilizations or states existing all over around the earth. There came the you can say Alexander. He rose from the Macedonia and came all over the Persian. He laid down the Persian Empire, and then further in Punjab he fought a war against the Porus, but returned from here. So these political or war leaders you can say, they played a unification. Like they dreamed of उन्होंने सोचा कि यार हम एक बड़ी सल्तनत या एक पूरी आलमगीर सल्तनत बनाएं. तो जब उन्होंने एक सल्तनत पे जब वो राज़ी ना हुए, तो उन्होंने कहा कि हम मज़ीद बढ़ेंगे. तो बढ़ने से जो एक यू कैन से द यूनिवर्सल एम्पायर का जो एक कंसेप्ट था, दैट लेड टू द यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ मैनकाइंड. एंड द थर्ड वन आर द रिलीजियस लीडर्स or the religions that played a major role in the unification of mankind. Like you can say the Arab Empire, and before that the Buddhist empires of China, and all the things. Although writer has also included the communism and all those other economic you can say ideologies, he has also considered that communism is also a religion like Buddhism. He has written a lot about this and tried to persuade that this is the, you can say, the all these are religions, and that led to the unification of mankind. So this is the basic of this chapter. And then comes the fourth chapter, which is the scientific revolution. So that starts from the 500 BC and then comes around the to the 5000 BC, and then comes to the all around to the over here to the present. So during the scientific revolution, Wright has precisely defined this as in a one line. You can say that all the historical process that led to the formation or creation of atomic bombs, and to the first step on moon by humans. This is all the scientific. This is called the scientific revolution. Like the time when first atomic bomb was created, and also the time when humans stepped first on moon around 1969. So this was the time, and this the writer precisely has said that this was the time of the scientific revolution, you can say. So this is a scientific revolution. Like one basic thing which have inspired me in this whole book, you can say, is that like the postmodernists that deconstruct all the things or ideas, and try to question the objectivity of things. So writer has said that there are three levels. First is the objective level, then is the subjective, and then is the intersubjective level. Objective level is the level of analysis, you can say, that exists in that is about all nature, you can say, all the natural things that are happening over here in this scenario. Like if it rains, then it will rain if humans believe in that or not. So all the natural things are of objective order, you can say, and then comes the subjective order that exists only in the individual mindset. Like you can say, when we were child, we used to believe in the ghosts, that at certain place there are some ghosts. लेकिन जैसे जैसे हम बड़े होते हैं तो हम उन चीज़ों पे यकीन रखना छोड़ देते हैं. So all the subjective things only exist when humans, you can say, believe in them or keep on believing in them, and when they don't believe, they don't exist. And then the last and the third one is the intersubjective level. That is the more complex, you can say. ये एक वेब होता है, जैसे कि राइटर ने कहा, एक वेब के जो पूरे लाखों ह्यूमंस के जिनों में एक वक्त एकदम, यू कैन से, कि एग्जिस्ट कर रहा होता है, लेकिन जैसे ही वो लेकिन अगर उसमें दो चार इंसान उस पर यकीन नहीं रखते तो उनसे कहने से वो बदल नहीं जाता. लाइक ऑल द कम्युनिस्ट एज अ रिलीजन, इफ वी डिस्कस कम्युनिज्म, और ऑल द रिलीजन्स, दे आर एट इंटरसब्जेक्टिव लेवल एंड दे कीप ऑन एग्जिस्टिंग इफ सम बिलीव, एंड इफ वी वांट टू रिप्लेस one with the other, then it must be so strong that it must influence all those other people to replace it. That's all by my side, and I will refer to you all guys that you must read it. It's a wonderful book.